In the last video was how we actually change translation tables with SIP2 messages. So I'm going to go to the self-learn station, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down, and if I come over here, I'm going to come to expired user. And if I look at expired user, I say with expired user, when I do an LMS rule and I come across, I search expired, I always show failure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually change this. I'm going to say I'm going to always show success. And if you can see here, the message override always comes from the expired, from an expired field. I've made a test expired field so that I don't just mess with my system too much. And the other thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to, when we were checking out items, we showed successful and unsuccessful items in two separate columns. I'm going to put them all into one separate column. And besides showing everything on one separate column, I'm also going to add what items I have previously borrowed. So I'm going to do that as well. And the other thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to go to my receipt header, and I'm going to change the name of the library. So I'm going to go to languages, and I'm going to go to English, and I'm going to go down to receipt header, and this is the header that sits for this group. And I'm going to change from ACT Public Libraries. I'm going to change this to IIMB and I'm going to save that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the dashboard, and I'm going to synchronize this now. And if you remember before, we changed the LMS rule for a patron with an expired card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan the patron with the expired card, patron 1002, and if you see what happens, it comes up with a member alert. Your card has expired. Please see the circulation desk. We should normally stop the patron, but we said we would always show success for this. So what happens all of a sudden is this patron is able to borrow books. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this patron borrow a book, and he doesn't have an email address, so he's going to exit with a, you can see over here, we've also changed the name of the library. It's now IIMB Library, and Mr. Expired Card was able to borrow a book, which is not a good thing. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into a normal patron, and this previous patron had borrowed all of these items before, and he had borrowed a number of items. We had renewed Made in Heaven Jury number 8, and he had the Ultimate Clock book. What I'm going to do is I'm going to exit from this, and I'm going to return some items. So I'm going to return some items that were borrowed by the patron, and I'm going to exit with the receipt, and today we have some returned items, which is number 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. You can see that those items have disappeared because I had returned them. But if I re-borrowed those items, what happens is you can see they appear. Okay, this item is not going to be borrowed. But I can renew, for example, if I go to the top here, I can renew Made in Heaven Jewelry number 8. So I have renewed that item. And if I exit with the receipt now, so we can see what has happened, is you can see today's borrowed items. We borrowed the 2 items that we were allowed to borrow. And it showed us that we renewed Made in Heaven Jewelry number 8. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the management console and fix the rule about the LMS. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix the rule about the LMS, and I'm going to change it from always show success to always show failure. I'm going to save that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and restart the self-loan station. So we've restarted the self-loan station, and we have corrected the issue with an expired patron. I'm going to try and scan my card with an expired patron. This time it says your card has expired. Please see the circulation message. Touch the screen to close message. And in this message, it automatically terminates my transaction, and it does not let me proceed. I hope that shows you the flexibility of the system.